There is a very specific energy surrounding you right now, and it feels like someone who once came close to you suddenly stepped back, creating confusion in your heart. You may have been asking yourself what changed. One moment there was warmth, attention, curiosity, and maybe even moments that felt deeply meaningful between you and this person. Then suddenly their energy shifted. They became quieter, more distant. Maybe their messages slowed down or their presence started to feel different. And it left you wondering if you did something wrong or if their feelings simply faded. But the energy coming through this reading suggests something very different. It shows that this person's distance is not as simple as it looks on the surface. Before we begin going deeper into this message, I want to remind you that tarot is an energy reading. The messages that come through are meant to guide and reflect what may already be happening energetically around you. So as you listen, only take what resonates with you and leave the rest behind. Your intuition will always recognize what truly belongs to your situation. Now what I'm sensing here is that this connection awakens something powerful between you and this person. When two energies meet and there is a genuine emotional spark, it creates a shift. Sometimes it happens quietly at first. A glance that lasts a little longer than usual. Conversations that feel unexpectedly deep. Moments where the silence between you feels comfortable instead of awkward. These are the kinds of subtle experiences that slowly build emotional awareness between two people. But when feelings begin to grow, they don't always feel easy for everyone involved. Some people welcome emotional closeness with open arms. Others become nervous the moment they realize their heart is becoming involved. And that is the energy that is strongly surrounding this situation. Because the truth here is that when someone suddenly pulls away after a period of closeness, it does not always mean their feelings disappeared. In many cases, it means their feelings became stronger than they expected, and that realization created fear. There is someone in your energy who did not anticipate how deeply they would start thinking about you. Your presence stirred something inside them that they were not prepared to face. You may have noticed moments where their attention toward you felt intense, almost like they were trying to understand you on a deeper level. But at the same time, there may have been moments where they seemed unsure of themselves, as if they were trying to hide how much they were actually feeling. This kind of emotional tension can cause a person to retreat, not because they want to lose the connection, but because they are trying to regain control of emotions that suddenly feel unpredictable. When someone realizes that another person has the ability to touch their heart in a meaningful way, it can make them feel exposed, vulnerable. And for someone who is not used to opening their heart easily, that realization can feel overwhelming. What I'm picking up strongly is that this person did not step back out of indifference. Their energy feels reflective, thoughtful, almost like someone who has been quietly observing the situation from a distance. Sometimes people believe that distance will help them sort out their feelings. They think that stepping away will calm the emotions that suddenly appeared. But often the opposite happens. The distance simply gives them more time to think about the person they tried to walk away from. So as we move further into this reading, we are going to explore the deeper truth behind why this person pulled back, what was truly going on in their emotional world, and what the energy between you is revealing now. Because the cards that appeared for this situation carry a message that may explain more than you expected about the silence, the distance, and the hidden feelings that still exist beneath the surface. 20 now as we move deeper into the energy of this connection. The first card that appears in this reading is the Two of Cups. This card immediately reveals something important about the bond that exists between you and this person. The Two of Cups is a powerful symbol of emotional harmony and mutual recognition. It does not represent one-sided attraction or fleeting curiosity. Instead, it speaks about two people whose energies naturally resonate with each other. When this card appears in a reading about someone pulling away, it often confirms that the connection itself was real and meaningful. What I sense strongly here is that when you and this person first began interacting, something felt different compared to ordinary encounters. There may have been a moment when you both realized that conversations flowed easily between you. Time may have passed quickly when you were together, or there may have been subtle moments where your attention seemed to focus naturally on each other. These kinds of experiences often mark the beginning of a genuine emotional bond. The Two of Cups reflects a situation where two hearts begin to recognize each other in ways that go beyond surface level attraction. But the presence of this card also reveals why things may have suddenly become complicated. When two people feel a genuine connection, it often triggers emotional awareness that neither person expected. Suddenly, the interaction carries more meaning than casual conversations or simple attraction. The heart begins to invest energy into the connection, and that is where vulnerability appears. For some people, vulnerability feels exciting and hopeful. For others, it feels overwhelming because it requires emotional openness that they are not fully prepared for. The energy here suggests that this person began to realize that their feelings for you are becoming stronger than they initially planned. What may have started as curiosity slowly grew into something deeper. And when that realization surfaced, it likely created an internal moment where they began questioning what the connection truly meant. The Two of Cups shows that this was not a situation where someone simply lost interest. Instead, it reflects the beginning of emotional recognition that carried real weight. As we move further into the reading, the second card appearing here is the Nine of Swords. This card speaks about the internal world of the person who stepped back from the connection. The Nine of Swords is often connected to overthinking, emotional stress, and moments where someone lies awake at night replaying situations in their mind. It represents someone whose thoughts become heavy with questions and worries. What this reveals is that the distance you experienced from this person may have been influenced by their own internal conflict. Instead of simply moving forward with the connection, they began analyzing it deeply. They may have wondered what would happen if their feelings continued to grow. They may have questioned whether they were emotionally ready to handle the kind of connection that was developing between you. Sometimes people feel excitement when they realize they are beginning to care about someone, but other times that realization creates anxiety, especially if they have experienced emotional disappointment in the past. The Nine of Swords often appears when someone fears repeating old emotional wounds. They begin thinking about all the ways things could go wrong instead of focusing on what feels right in the moment. This card also suggests that even during the time when they appear distant from you, their mind continued returning to thoughts about the connection. The Nine of Swords rarely represents someone who has forgotten or moved on completely. Instead, it shows someone whose thoughts remain active and restless. They may replay conversations in their mind, wondering whether they revealed too much or not enough. They may think about how things felt between you and question whether stepping back was truly the right choice. As we continue exploring the energy surrounding this situation, the third card that appears is the King of Cups. This card gives us deeper insight into the emotional nature of the person connected to you. The King of Cups represents someone who has a deep emotional world but does not easily reveal their feelings. This is someone who values emotional control and maturity. They prefer to maintain calm and balance rather than allowing their emotions to become visible to others. The King of Cups often describes a person who appears composed and thoughtful on the outside. They may listen carefully and observe situations before speaking. But beneath that calm exterior is someone capable of feeling emotions very deeply. They simply choose to manage those emotions quietly rather than expressing them impulsively. In the context of this connection, the King of Cups suggests that this person may have been experiencing stronger feelings for you than they were comfortable admitting. When someone with this type of emotional personality begins to feel their heart opening toward another person, it can create a sense of vulnerability. They may feel exposed in ways that challenge their usual sense of control. Instead of expressing their emotions immediately, they often step back to understand what they are feeling. They analyze their emotions internally, trying to decide whether those feelings are something they are ready to act upon. The King of Cups does not rush into emotional situations. They prefer to move carefully and thoughtfully, especially when their heart is involved. This card also suggests that their distance may have been their way of trying to regain emotional balance. If they felt that their feelings were growing quickly, stepping back may have seemed like a way to slow things down and regain control over their emotions. But the King of Cups energy also confirms that emotional depth still exists within them. The fourth card appearing in this reading is the Page of Cups. This card reveals another layer of this person's emotional experience. The Page of Cups represents romantic curiosity and emotional sensitivity. It often describes someone who feels genuine affection for another person but struggles to express those feelings directly. The Page of Cups carries a gentle energy. It reflects someone who may dream about love, think about meaningful connections, and imagine emotional possibilities. But at the same time, they may feel uncertain about how to take the first step toward revealing their heart. They may worry about being misunderstood or rejected. When the Page of Cups appears after the King of Cups, it often shows a contrast between emotional maturity and emotional vulnerability. On one hand, this person wants to appear strong and composed. On the other hand, there is a softer side within them that feels drawn toward the connection you share. This card suggests that even during periods of silence or distance, there may still be moments when they think about reaching out to you. They may wonder what you are doing or how you are feeling. The Page of Cups energy often involves quiet emotional reflection. They may imagine conversations with you in their mind or recall moments when the connection felt warm and natural. What is important here is that the Page of Cups does not represent someone whose feelings disappeared. Instead, it represents someone whose heart remains emotionally open, even if they are unsure about how to express that openness. The fifth card appearing in this reading is the Four of Pentacles. This card reveals the protective side of this person's behavior. The Four of Pentacles represents someone who holds onto their emotions tightly and carefully. It often describes someone who fears losing control or becoming too vulnerable in emotional situations. When this card appears in a connection reading, it often shows someone who is guarding their heart. They may feel strongly about someone, but they are cautious about revealing those feelings because they fear the possibility of being hurt. The Four of Pentacles energy is about emotional self-protection. In your situation, this card suggests that when this person realized how much the connection with you was beginning to matter, they instinctively tried to protect themselves. Instead of allowing their emotions to flow freely, they chose to hold back. Creating distance may have felt like a way to maintain control over their emotional world. But the Four of Pentacles also carries another meaning that is important to notice. While it represents emotional guarding, it also represents holding on to something that feels valuable. This card rarely appears when someone has completely let go of a connection. Instead, it often shows someone who continues to hold onto their feelings quietly. Even though this person stepped back, the energy here suggests that the connection still holds significance in their heart. They may not be expressing their emotions openly, but the emotional imprint of the connection has not disappeared. Finally, the sixth card appearing in this reading is the Wheel of Fortune. This card brings a message about timing, change, and the natural cycles that relationships often move through. The Wheel of Fortune reminds us that life unfolds in phases. Moments of closeness can be followed by moments of reflection or distance before circumstances shift again. When this card appears in a connection reading, it often indicates that the story between two people is still unfolding. The distance you experienced may not represent the final chapter of the connection. Instead, it may be part of a cycle where emotions are being processed and understood. The Wheel of Fortune suggests that timing plays a role in how connections evolve. Sometimes two people meet at a moment when emotions are real, but circumstances require patience before things can move forward clearly. Life has a way of bringing situations back into alignment when the timing is right. What these cards collectively reveal is that this person's distance was not created by a lack of feeling. Instead, it reflects someone who suddenly realized that the connection with you carried deeper emotional meaning than they expected. That realization created internal questions and emotional caution. Sometimes when people feel something powerful beginning to grow in their heart, their first instinct is not to move closer but to pause. They step back to understand what their feelings truly mean and whether they are ready to embrace the vulnerability that real emotional connection requires. And that deeper emotional truth is what the cards are revealing about why this person pulled back and what may still exist beneath the silence between you. As we come to the end of this reading, the energy surrounding this connection leaves us with an important truth to reflect on. Sometimes when someone pulls away, the immediate assumption is that their feelings disappeared or that the connection simply meant less to them than it did to you. But the energy shown through these cards tells a very different story. It reveals a situation where emotions became deeper than expected, where someone realized that your presence touched their heart in a way they were not fully prepared to handle. And when that realization appeared, their instinct was to step back and try to understand what they were feeling. Not everyone responds to emotional intensity in the same way. Some people move closer when they feel a connection growing, while others pause because they need time to process the changes happening within their heart. The silence or distance you experienced may not have been about rejection at all. Instead, it may have been the result of someone trying to make sense of emotions that suddenly felt powerful and unfamiliar. When feelings arrive unexpectedly, they can challenge a person's sense of control, and stepping back can feel like the only way to regain clarity. What is important to remember is that a meaningful connection does not disappear simply because someone needed space. The emotional imprint between two people can remain present even during periods of distance. Sometimes silence is not the end of a story, but a moment where both people are quietly reflecting on what the connection means to them. And often during that silence, emotions continue to evolve beneath the surface. The energy in this reading shows that the bond between you and this person carried sincerity and emotional depth. The feelings that were awakened did not come from nowhere. They were part of a genuine interaction between two people whose energies recognized something familiar in each other. When that kind of recognition occurs, it can create a lasting impression that is not easily forgotten. But this message is not only about the other person. It is also about you and the strength of your own energy. The connection reflected in these cards suggests that your presence has a powerful emotional influence on others. There is something about your energy that invites honesty, vulnerability, and emotional awareness. Sometimes people who encounter that kind of presence feel inspired by it. Other times they feel overwhelmed because it encourages them to confront emotions they may have been avoiding. Regardless of how another person chooses to respond, your energy remains valuable and meaningful. You do not need to chase clarity or force someone to understand their feelings before they are ready. True emotional connections have a way of revealing their truth over time. What is meant to unfold will find its way through the natural flow of timing and understanding. For now, the message here encourages you to remain grounded in your own sense of worth and emotional balance. Trust that what was real between you and this person will continue to exist within the energetic story you share, even if the path forward is still forming. Sometimes distance is not the closing of a door, but the quiet space where emotions gather the courage to return with greater honesty. The universe often works in subtle ways, guiding people through moments of confusion toward deeper clarity. What feels uncertain today may reveal its purpose later, and the answers you seek may arrive when both hearts are ready to understand them fully. Thank you for sharing this moment of reflection with me. Remember to listen to your intuition as you move forward, and always take what resonates with you while allowing the rest to pass gently by.